This is a training video presented by the Cutting Edge Landscaping, in which we will teach you how to apply mulch from start to finish. This will include review of the work order, tools needed, safety equipment, what to do when mulching, what not to do when mulching, and finally cleanup once you are done mulching. Mulching is beneficial for many reasons. Aside from giving the property a manicured look, it is beneficial to the plants by keeping the soil cooler in the summer. It helps maintain moisture, adds organic matter to the soil as it breaks down, and helps to suppress weeds. Here are a list of tools needed for a mulching job. Dump trucks, backpack blowers, pitchforks big and small, a large plastic shovel or a grain shovel, wheelbarrows, flathead shovels, a weed whacker for weed whacking weeds, and an edging attachment for the weed whacker. Gasoline and 2-cycle oil mix, heavy metal rakes, plastic rakes, orange cones, a hand spreader, tarps, tools for trimming and pruning plants, weed control product, plant fertilizer, and a green garbage can. It is now time to review your work order. Write down the start time, employees' names, date, read any specific notes to the project, the type and amount of mulch estimated, and review the time allotted for this job. The LMN app will be used in addition. When done with the job, write down the stop time and the amount of mulch used. At that time, the LMN app will be used to enter information as well. Walk the property. All workers should walk around the property to view mulch beds to familiarize themselves with them and see if there is anything out of the ordinary or if there are any questions which would be needed to ask of someone in the office. Assess weeds, current condition of the mulch, and debris. Repair landscape prior to mulching as needed. Make any small fix-ups that will give the job a finished look. At this point, the driver will go pick up mulch if needed while the rest of the crew starts. Leave all tools and equipment for the workers to use and leave an empty truck. Dump any small amounts of mulch. This will typically be dumped in the driveway if it is an asphalt driveway. Do not dump mulch in a stone or paver driveway as it could stain the driveway. If the mulch is dumped in the road, be sure to set up orange cones around it for safety, and do not dump mulch on a busy road. Ideally, the weeding crew would have weeded first and there would be few weeds. Weed removal must take place prior to mulching or the weeds will pop up through the mulch and leave an unfinished look. Pull any larger weeds as well as those growing in and near plants which can't be weed whacked. Use a flathead shovel to deep edge mulch bed borders to create a clean defined edge which will separate the mulch bed from the lawn or hardscaped border. This helps stop the mulch from coming out of the bed and from having the lawn grow into the bed. The edge should be about 3 inches deep. Push down on the shovel and kick it forward. Edges along a driveway, walkway, or patio must also be edged so mulch stays in the bed and doesn't overflow onto the hardscaped area. Clean up the debris left from edging by raking it together into piles and removing it. Any weeds or grass must be removed and dumped in the woods or brought off-site. Soil and mulch can be raked out into the bed or spread out in a wide open area if in a different location. Weeds and grass must be removed, otherwise it will grow where it is spread out. The bed should be generally clean, however they may need to be raked or blown out as well as sticks and branches picked up. Any areas of excess mulch around woody plants must be removed by using tools or by hand prior to mulching. The excess soil or mulch may be spread in appropriate areas. Prior to mulching, if the work order states that any additional tasks are to be done within the job, now is the time to do it. These may include plant trimming and pruning, granular fertilizer, and pre-emergent weed control product. The total amount of mulch used should be between 2 to 3 inches. If there is currently an inch or two of mulch, only a light layer of about 1 inch of mulch should be applied. In time, the mulch does break down, so mulching about 1 inch per year is ideal. Too much mulch can stop rainwater from going down to the soil and roots. It can prevent oxygen exchange from the air to the soil and hinder beneficial organisms such as earthworms. Do not mulch up against woody plants like trees and bushes. It may cause insect and rodent damage. Plus, if done excessively, will kill plants and even trees. This will also cause roots to develop in the mulch rather than in the ground. This chokes out the plant. Prior to mulching, on plants where this is noticed, it must be removed. Do not leave any mulch on landscape lighting. Aside from preventing the lights from working, it can cause a fire. When you begin mulching, it is easiest to load the wheelbarrows directly from the truck. At times, it might make sense to dump the mulch and use a large pitchfork or grain shovel to load the wheelbarrow. A pitchfork will work best when digging into a pile of mulch. The shovel will work best when shoveling along a flat surface such as the bottom of the truck or a paved area. Fill up the wheelbarrow, but not to the point that it will fall out when you're moving it. Spread mulch by taking a pitchfork full from the wheelbarrow and throwing it onto the bed or shaking it so the mulch falls through the tines. It can then be spread with the pitchfork to get an even layer. If mulch falls onto the plant, you can knock it off at this time with a pitchfork or later when cleaning up. Do not mulch too close to plants or too high against the newly edged border. Clean up after mulching. Rake out excess mulch where it may have fallen onto the lawn or paved area. Smaller amounts can be blown out. This will later be ground up and spread with the mower when the lawn is cut and turned into soil. Then blow off the grass, paved areas, plants, and anywhere else that mulch may have fallen but doesn't belong. Finally, review the job. Walk around to check for any areas not mulched, tools left behind, or areas not blown off. Take some pictures for the LMN app and take pride in a job well done.